One way you can become a better Muslim is to stop saying that Muhammad did miracles. Muslims sometimes claim that Muhammad did miracles, but this disobeys the Quran. The Quran nowhere says that Muhammad did a miracle.
Here are 3 passages in the Quran which explicitly affirm that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ came with miracles. The first passage is the beginning of Surah 54. اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر. The hour has come near and the moon has split. So this tells you, it reports an incident that occurred, and the incident is mentioned in the past tense, the splitting of the moon. And note that it's a supernatural occurrence, the splitting of the moon. So it's very clear that this is about a miracle, and that's confirmed as we read on. وَإِن يَرَوْا آيَةً يُعْرِضُوا وَيَقُولُوا سِحْرٌ مُسْتَمِرٌ. And if they see a sign, they turn away and say passing magic. So note 3 things here. First of all, the word for sign is in the singular, showing you it's talking about a miracle. Notice that it mentions them seeing a sign, showing you it's about a visual miracle. And finally, note the fact that they call it magic, once again confirming that this passage is about them seeing and denying a visual miracle. وَكَذَّبُوا وَاتَّبَعُوا أَهْوَاءَهُمْ وَكُلُّ أَمْرٍ مُسْتَقِرٌ. And they denied and followed their desires. But for every matter is a time of settlement. Now the phrase, and they denied and followed their desires, it's in the past tense. And it clearly links up to what we read above, the fact that this miracle occurred, which is the splitting of the moon, and the disbelievers rejected it as passing magic. So now they're being blamed for their rejection of the miracle. The fact that they saw it and they dismissed it as magic, they're being blamed for it. And Allah is saying that despite them seeing the sign, they denied it and they followed their inclinations. وَإِذَا رَأَوْا آيَةً يَسْتَسْخِرُونَ وَقَالُوا إِنْ هَذَا إِلَّا سِحْرٌ مُبِينٌ. And when they see a sign, they ridicule and say this is not but obvious magic. وَإِذَا جَاءَتْهُمْ آيَةٌ قَالُوا لَن نُؤْمِنَ حَتَّى نُؤْتَى مِثْلَ مَا أُوتِيَ رُسُلُ اللَّهِ اللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ حَيْثُ يَجْعَلُ رِسَالَتَهُ. And when a sign comes to them, they say, never will we believe until we are given like that which was given to the messengers of Allah. Allah is most knowing of where He places His message. So again here, whenever a sign comes to them, they start making these excuses, saying, we want revelation to come to us directly. And Allah responds by saying He knows best where to place His message, to give it to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, directly, and he gives it unto the rest of the people. Also note that the Arabic of these 3 passages actually implies that the Prophet ﷺ came with more than one miracle. The word for ayah doesn't have a definite article. The word for sign doesn't have a definite article. So the sense of the Arabic is that whenever a sign comes to them, they keep making these excuses. They keep saying it's magic or whatnot. So this is describing a pattern of behavior. Whenever a sign comes to them, more than one sign has come to them, and every time a sign comes, they keep making these excuses. So the way this works with Surah 54 then is that verse 2 is saying that the way they reacted to the moon split, which is calling it magic, is actually the way they've constantly reacted to signs. So while verse 2 in Surah 54 is especially about the splitting of the moon, it's also showing you that they had other miracles that came to them and they always had the same reaction, calling it passing magic. Now another thing to note is that the Quran establishes a pattern. Whenever visual observable miracles occur, the reactions of disbelievers throughout the centuries have often been the same. They consistently just dismiss them by calling them magic. We see this in the story of Moses. When Moses performs miracles such as turning a staff into a snake, the disbelievers respond by saying, هَذَا سِحْرٌ مُبِينٌ. This is obvious magic. This is in Surah 27. And we see this in the story of Jesus. When Jesus' miracles such as raising the dead by Allah's permission are mentioned, the reaction of the disbelievers is recorded in the Quran as إِنْ هَذَا إِلَّا سِحْرٌ مُبِينٌ. This is nothing but obvious magic. So when we come to Surah 37 and Surah 54, which talk about the Quraysh seeing a miracle and dismissing it by calling it magic, we know this is in line with what people said about Moses' visual miracles and what people said about Jesus' visual miracles, and that shows you that these passages are also talking about Muhammad ﷺ performing visual miracles and the disbelievers dismissing them as magic, like Pharaoh dismissed Moses' miracles and like the Pharisees dismissed Jesus' miracles.